Hi, I'm Casey, and I worked with Chris in direct care as a provider in her home, and I've also worked with her some within the SSA department here. And the timeline that we did brought a lot of emotion and feeling for me, because I could look back on things that I had done as a result of her being upset, and I can realize now that that wasn't necessarily the best thing to do. But I think everybody in Chris's life have always tried to do the best that they knew how to do, and we can look back now and see everything that has happened in her life, and then that can help us understand why she acts different ways, and then we can try to help her better. The timeline helped to just reveal like layers of Chris, and layers of her history, and then how that affects her emotionally and physically. And I think it's important that the whole team knows her history, so they can be more empathetic to Chris and what she's been through.
Hi, I am Judy, District Manager for Good Hands. The training was very beneficial to, over the 11 years, information that I did not know about Chris, and that would help us in the future to work with her. With the training, that was very important for us to learn about Chris and to work with her in the future and how to connect with her and make her life more meaningful, and be able to maybe someday even work in the community with very little assistance.
I think looking at the timeline of someone's entire life was it was inspiring, but it was also it forced me to accept the whole picture of someone, to see every bit and piece of their life, whether positive or negative. It forces you to encompass every part about them. It also allows you to better understand and accept, maybe where they're coming from and why they do maybe some of the things that they do, and how different things in their life can just re-traumatize or bring up some of those awful experiences that they've had in the past. And it allows us to understand what we need to do to improve upon them not reliving those traumatic events over and over again in their life.
I think looking at the timeline was a good idea for people that really are not real familiar with Chris. I've worked with her here at PDI 16 years, and I did in-home care with her, I think, about 13. I've noticed over the years working with different people and her that some people do not take a good look at all her mental health issues. I would like to see actually maybe some other people here that work with her at PDI to go through that same session and help understand. And I know myself, I am guilty of saying, why are you doing this, Chris? But then when I look back and I think if I went through that in my life, honestly, I don't think I would do as good as Chris does today. I know she's very possessive of all her belongings, and her life pretty much revolves around her possessions. And I think, over the years, that's been a coping mechanism of hers too, because she has control of those things. She can pick a purse, she can pick a lip gloss, she can, go shopping every 2 weeks, and, she gets to pick what she wants. And Chris doesn't have a lot of independence in her life. I think that really helped. It helped me to understand what these situations in childhood, what behaviors they can actually bring out in her. And I found it very interesting.
Okay. In the past 18 years that I've worked with Chris, I never really dug into the history of where Chris came from or anything prior to the time I've spent with her. It was always a time where we just planned for services for the moment that we were in. However, participating in this team process of studying a timeline of her life, it has been eye-opening. In that moment, I was feeling anything from anger and frustration, sadness, but in the end, I see hope, and hope for the team that we can better serve Chris, knowing the things that we know now from doing the timeline process.